Hello, second graders. This is so fun to get to talk to you guys today because normally I'm talking to your parents on these things, but now you get to be a part of it. So I wanted to show you the document that your parents have been seeing so far. Now this document's a little bit different. There are less slides here because you need less information than your parents do, but there is lots of really cool stuff on here. For reading at home, there's lots of logins here, but the big ones I want you guys to know is the Epic, PebbleGo, and Raz Kids. Those are the three big ones we will be using. Here is how to get onto ABC Mouse. This is a little complicated. I did leave it on here, but really, unless mom or dad is helping you, there's no need for you to be on that. And then here, and that's just because this is so complicated. And then here, for reading today, you will be reading a script of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. These are the scripts that we used to practice with partners, but you guys today are going to do it a little bit differently. So here's the first introduction page of the script, and the reason they have this page is to show you how the parts are different. So Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Teeny Baby Bear are parts that are more appropriate for grade 1. So if you are able to read these pretty easily, then I would move on to grade 2. Goldilocks' parts will be kind of what earlier this year would have been just right for you. Now, if you are finding that Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Teeny Baby Bear are still a little bit tricky, I want you to be reading those because that's amazing practice for you. And then, of course, if these and these are too easy, then you can move on and you can maybe read the parts of the narrator mostly. Now, normally you would have a partner. I know these are tricky times, so as far as finding a partner goes, if you can find a brother or sister, or mom and dad can maybe do a part or a few parts, you could take turns in that way. Now, if mom and dad are busy and they need to work, or if your brother and sister are busy and they need to work, or they're just not around, then you can do the parts all yourself. Now, if these parts seem just right for you, that will make the narrator part a little bit harder, so you might want to wait until mom and dad are available, or brother or sister if you have an older brother or sister. But if you need to, just do your very best and work through the words. We know that whenever we come to really hard words, we work through them the best we can, we reread it, and then we go back and reread that part again before moving on. Again, if you're trying these on your own and they're really, really hard and it's getting frustrating for you, then just wait and have mom or dad help you, okay? Because this is supposed to be fun. We know how much we love acting out and doing scripts in the classroom, and I love that you guys are getting to do this at home. So again, you'll read through this. If it's just you and you can read all the parts on your own, you can totally do all the parts on your own. I would encourage you to do different voices for each part. The narrator's voices you could make a little bit different, but the big change comes, of course, when we introduce Goldilocks. And goes on for a while. Of course, we will eventually be introducing Papa Bear and Mama Bear and Baby Bear. Now, if you have younger siblings and you're finding that Goldilocks and the narrator parts are parts that you can do, you could have your younger sibling take on one of these roles too. It's totally whatever works for you. Your goal will be to read through this at least once, maybe twice, maybe the first time you work through those hard words and you focus on reading it. And then the second time you can focus on acting and adding expression and adding motions and all those things we got really good at. So I would say for reading, if you want to do that script, you can do that. Or if you don't want to do the script, you could also do ABC Mouse. You could get on Raz Kids. I love seeing Raz Kids because I can see what you guys are reading. I see quite a few of you have moved up grade levels, or not grade levels, reading levels. And I've just been so, so proud of you. And then you could also get on the high frequency word list. And if you do that, you could start with kindergarten, and if that's feeling hard, you could stay there. But if you know kindergarten will be a little too easy for you, maybe look at first grade. And if that's feeling pretty easy, you can move on to second grade. Master these completely. And then for a challenge, you could move on to third grade or fourth or fifth or, whatever is a just right fit for you. So that's your reading activity for today. Then for writing, this one's really, really fun and I'm excited. I hope you guys send me some of this work. We have letter writing. You'll write a letter to me, your teacher, about what you worked on this week. You don't have to tell me everything. Maybe tell me one thing you're the most proud of and for reading, writing, math, and social studies. That would be a treat. I would love to hear. And then what was your favorite part of the week? It doesn't have to be school related. It can be something that happened at home or with your family. What is something silly that happened? What is something exciting that happened? And then you can sketch a picture to go along with your letter. And again, if your parents want to send me that, that's great. If you're on here because you're on the Google Classroom, I did set up an assignment place for you to actually turn in your work for me in Google Classroom. And I asked your parents if they wanted to show that to you, you could do that. But if they don't want to, then have them just send me a picture. It'd be really fun to see. Then, of course, for handwriting, you can do print or cursive. Many of your parents have printed off these pages or gotten them from the school. If not, just practice in your notebook and look at these, and you can look at them right here on your screen and really try to match it. Make sure, for example, with F, notice these two dashes here, and here are the same length. So make sure you just really get picky about your letters. We don't have a lot of time to do this in the classroom, so this is really good practice. Then for measurement, you guys are going to come here and you are going to watch these centimeters, meters, kilometers. Now, kilometers you don't have to know as much about. That's not a second grade thing. But centimeters and meters you will. Watch this video. It's really good. It does a great job of explaining it. If it asks you for a login, let me see if this works. If it doesn't work, it's not a code. It'll pop up here for a username password. If it does pull that up, you'll type in parkhill2020. Okay? Let me try that here actually. Yeah, there you go. From now on, if you log that in, if it asks you to, then you'll be good for all the videos. Some of these are free and some of them you need that login information. So again, if you need it, it's parkhill2020. Watch that video about centimeters and meters. The big idea I want you to get from this is that meters are big. You can see here they used meters to measure a whale. Centimeters are small. Centimeters are actually even smaller than inches, and that video will explain that as well. Now, in the United States, we usually use inches and feet to measure things. Notice when you ask how tall you are, it's I'm 4 feet something inches. But in other countries, they use meters and centimeters, and they tell you how many meters and centimeters tall they are. So that's why we learn both. Different countries use different measurements. And then you're going to walk around your home and search for as many objects as you can that are about 3 centimeters long or 1 meter long. Now, I know a lot of you don't have meter sticks because, again, in America, we use yardsticks. But if you can, maybe ask mom and dad if they have a tape measure or measuring tape that you could use to see how big they are in real life. Then I would say get about 3 items that are 3 centimeters long and 3 items that are 1 meter long. And then you're going to draw and label these objects on a sheet of paper, so in your notebook. And then, if you want, you don't have to do this activity. You could, if your parents printed this for you or you have it, you could do this in Vision Work Mat. Now, I know it says here open with Google Docs. If you click on that, it's going to get kind of funny and it messes all the page up so you can't actually do it on Google Docs. But if you want to do this, see if your parents can print it. If they cannot, you can do this activity instead. And then, when you're finished, you can choose between 2 other activities. The first would be subtraction stacks. And this is a game we've had in the classroom a long time ago, so you might have forgotten. But to play subtraction stacks, you will need 2 dice, counters. Now, you don't need actual counters like we have at school. You can use paper, you can use pennies, whatever you want. And these playing cards. Again, if you can print them, that's great, but these are things you could totally write in your notebook, right? You could draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares, write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and totally play the game. The only thing that might be tricky is if you don't have dice, but I bet a lot of us have games we could borrow them from. Just make sure you put them back in the game before you forget. So here's how you play. You'll roll 2 dice. Well, actually, before you roll 2 dice, you'll use your 10 counters, your pennies, your paper, whatever you have, and you will put them wherever you want, numbers 0 through 5. You could put none on 0, you could put a few on 4, just spread them out, I would recommend. If you put them all on one number, you will figure out very quickly why that is not a good strategy, but I'm not going to tell you why yet. And whenever you play, you'll take turns. You'll need 2 players. Whoever goes first will roll both dice and they'll find the difference between 2 numbers. Now don't forget the difference is subtraction. So if I were to roll a 6 and a 2, I would do 6 minus 2 equals 4. So I could take this counter off of 4. My goal is to have all of my counters off of my board first. And after you go, it's your partner's turn. Now, if I were to roll a 4 as my difference again, let's say I rolled a 5 and a 1, that would be 4. And if my counter's already gone, then I have no counter to remove and it moves on to the next player. You do not get to go again. So again, that is how you play subtraction stacks. If you don't have these papers, you can get on Math Playground and you can get on add and subtract, fractions and more, shapes and graphs, and money and time would all be good choices for you. And then for social studies, you might have talked about bartering last week a little bit or a few weeks ago. Watch this video on what is money. Now I would click on this, but when I click on it, it plays automatically and my screen recording program that I'm using to record my voice with the screen right now gets all messed up. So I'm not going to click on it. But it is a really good video explaining what money is. And then you can also look here at this anchor chart. By the time this video is done, you will see that bartering and buying are both forms of trading. For bartering, you're trading object for object. You're trading a good or a service. So let's say I was a hair cutter, and I had a friend who needed a haircut, but she sold apples and I needed some apples. We could totally trade. I could give her a haircut and she would give me apples, and that would be one way to get what we want. But buying is normally how we get what we want because almost everybody has money. Not everybody needs a haircut and not everybody wants apples. So that's why money is what we use most of the time. And again, that video will explain that. Okay, and then you will complete the money or barter sort. Again, you can print this. If you have the resource packet, that's great. Or you can draw this table, this T-chart in your notebook, and you can just write down, like you can read this one and write down which category it goes into. Either anything like that works for me. Whatever you need to do to get that sort done is great. And second graders, that is it for day 15. This is Friday, April 10th. Now, I wanted to go over the rest of this Google Slides presentation with you. The rest of these will stay pretty much the same. This is the only day that changes because each day there's going to be different learning activities. There's the specials choice board here. You can click on anything, and this will stay the same unless they update it. And then we do have here our Zoom class meeting. So again, you can click on this link, you can type in this code, make sure you're really careful. There's 9 numbers here. If you mess up one, it won't work. So slow down. If it's not working, make sure you type these in right. And then the password is 19 for both. And then you'll be put into like a waiting room and I will let you into the Zoom chat. Again, those are Friday and Monday at 1 o'clock. So we do have one today at 1. But yeah, that is the Google slide. And you guys, I'm so excited that I get to talk to you and kind of help you through this. You will see here, I'm going to be putting it, you should have gotten it from here, my Google Classroom. Let me save that. You will see it here for day 15 plans. And it is going to have this video in it, which you're watching. So if you're watching it, you probably already came here. And then if you want, you can come here. Again, this is the teacher version, so it looks a little bit different. But you can show me some of the work you do. If you want to take a video, or I'm sorry, take a picture of your work, and then whenever it comes time to submit it, you can come over here. Yours will look different again. This is the teacher version. But you can come here and you can show me your work. You can upload it to a Google document. All the directions are here, and there's even a video of me explaining how to do it. So the first thing I would do, oh sorry, the video's over here. When you open up your day 15 work, you will watch this video on how to add a picture, and then you'll click here, and you will add a picture yourself. You can get rid of my pictures. I'm actually going to do that now. The video kind of showed you how to do that. And then you can add your pictures here. Each student has their own Google Doc. So each of you has your own. So none of your work will be mixed together. I'll get to see exactly what you did. And that's pretty exciting to me. So if you want to do that, you can, but you don't have to.